I'm getting real sick and tired of people trying to undermine Joe Burrow's success like he didn't take the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl in 2021 despite playing behind the worst offensive line in the NFL. What Joe Burrow did his second season in the league was an anomaly. You normally don't go far in the playoffs if you don't have a good offensive line, especially if you're the most sacked quarterback in the league that year. It doesn't matter how good your receiving core is if you don't have the guys up front who can give you enough time to throw the football to your wideouts. I don't understand why people are trying to force Josh Allen to be the second best quarterback over Joe Burrow when he's not. Y'all keep trying to say, oh, JT, Joe Burrow has way more weapons than Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen hasn't had Stephon Diggs and a good offensive line every single year he's been to the playoffs. What Joe Burrow has done is something that has never been accomplished in the history of the NFL, at least in recent memory. Name me another QB who has led their team to the Super Bowl despite being the most sacked quarterback in the league that year, playing behind the worst offensive line in the league that same season. Name me another one. Has Josh Allen did that? No. Y'all keep focusing on the receivers. We know that Joe Burrow is throwing to the best receiving core in the NFL, but he's been playing behind the worst offensive line in the league for damn near 2 years. And y'all just try to overlook that? Like that doesn't matter? Look at the 4 teams who were in the conference championship games this past season. The Philadelphia Eagles had the best offensive line in the NFL. San Francisco had one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Same thing with Kansas City. Cincinnati, some way, somehow, is still able to find ways to win in the postseason despite having garbage offensive line play. And you want to know why? Because of Joe Burrow. I'm sick and tired of you people trying to undermine the success of Joe Burrow. What this dude is doing right now is unheard of. Y'all keep trying to make excuses for Josh Allen not having this, not having that, when Joe Burrow has done something that I'm pretty sure not too many QBs in the history of this game have been able to do, being able to make it to a Super Bowl despite being the most sacked quarterback in the league. This dude got sacked, 9-10 times against the Tennessee Titans and still was able to lead the Cincinnati Bengals to a win in that game? Joe Burrow is the second best QB in the NFL right now, and it shouldn't really be a debate. It's Patrick Mahomes, then it's Joe Burrow, and then whoever you want to put at number 3, 4, and 5, that's up to you. But stop trying to discredit what Joe Burrow has done. You keep looking at the damn receivers. F the receivers. Tell me another QB right now that could lead his team to the Super Bowl despite being the most sacked quarterback in the league. No one. You need to have a good offensive line to be able to make it deep in the postseason. What Joe Burrow has done is an anomaly. And you got people who keep referring to Joe Burrow's playoff stats. Oh, JT, Joe Burrow doesn't have good playoff numbers. Duh! You want to know why? Because he never has good enough protection to put up phenomenal numbers in the postseason. Joe Burrow finds ways to win games in the postseason, and that's all that matters. This dude only has one playoff loss on his resume, not including the loss of the LA Rams in the Super Bowl, which, by the way, he was sacked 7 times in that game. You want to know why having an elite offensive line matters? Ask Patrick Mahomes what happened after they got clobbered by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the Super Bowl. His offensive line was awful in that game. And you know what Kansas City did right after? They went ahead and they revamped the offensive line. Y'all keep trying to undermine and discredit what Joe Burrow has done just by looking at the stat sheet. Stop looking at the effing stat sheet and watch the damn games. What Joe Burrow is doing right now is unheard of. You should not be able to take your team to the damn Super Bowl being the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, playing behind the worst offensive line in the league. You people need to really up your football IQ, dog. Because most of the times, 9.5 out of 10, if you don't have a good offensive line, you're not going far in the playoffs. This man, Joe Burrow, has single-handedly changed the culture of the Cincinnati Bengals. Before Joe Burrow arrived to Cincinnati, these boys hadn't won a playoff game in damn decades. Decades, bruh. Joe Burrow has changed the culture of the Cincinnati Bengals organization. And he's only been there for a handful of years. This dude is clearly special. He's in the class with just Patrick Mahomes and everybody else. Yeah, I know it's levels to this. You got Patrick Mahomes. He's on the tier by himself. But then you got Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow being the most sacked quarterback in the league and still getting Cincinnati to the Super Bowl is something that a lot of you guys need to stop glossing over. Go back and tell me another QB that took his team to the championship game despite playing behind the worst offensive line in the league. That was damn near the worst offensive line to ever be in the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow is better than Josh Allen, and he's better than whoever you think should be over him for the title as the second best QB in the league. I get really fired up about this shit, man, because I hate when people try to discredit greatness. What you're watching up there and that number 9 jersey up there in Cincinnati is something that you're probably not going to see again. This dude has elite pocket presence, great accuracy, and although he did fold late in the fourth quarter against Kansas City, this dude's offensive line was dog shit. And y'all just try to overlook that because he's throwing to Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins. What happens when you're in third and long situations and you need your offensive line to give you legitimate protection so you can get the ball to your playmakers? Huh? Like, bruh, Josh Allen is not better than Joe Burrow. You Bills fans need to get over it. Josh Allen nearly costed the Buffalo Bills a win against the Miami Dolphins, and he got outplayed and outclassed by Joe Burrow in the playoffs this year. Stop making excuses about what Josh Allen doesn't have, what he needs, because what I saw on the field was Josh Allen not playing behind the worst offensive line in the NFL. Joe Burrow had plenty of excuses that he could have used for why the Cincinnati Bengals couldn't make it to the Super Bowl in 2021. You're not supposed to go that far in the playoffs when you have a terrible offensive line like that, bruh. I'm getting sick and tired of people undermining Joe Burrow's success. Put some respect on Joe Burrow. What this man did in his second season in the NFL, coming off an ACL injury, is something that we will never see again, man. You guys are witnessing greatness right now. You guys need to put some more respect on Joe Burrow's name. Joe Burrow is clearly the second best QB in the NFL. It's 5:07 a.m. in the morning, and y'all got me hot, man. Y'all got me tight with this. You really gonna try to discredit Joe Burrow, saying that Josh Allen's better than him because he got more weapons? When Josh Allen has a better offensive line, which is way more important than being successful in the postseason, bro? What's up with y'all? What's up with y'all? This is really how low y'all gonna go? Y'all really gonna act like the offensive line doesn't matter? If the offensive line doesn't matter, name me another QB, and I'm still waiting, name me another QB in the past decade who's taken his team to the Super Bowl despite being the most sacked quarterback in the league, playing behind the worst offensive line in the NFL that year. Name me another QB. Name me another QB, and please don't tell me, man, JT, some of those sacks are on Joe Burrow because he holds the ball too long. I mean, when you're in a third and long situation, you got to hold on to the ball long because you got to make a play. This man, Joe Burrow, I don't give a damn about the playoff stats, man. All I know is somebody who finds a way to win games. This man went on the road to Arrowhead and beat Patrick Mahomes. When has Josh Allen ever been Patrick Mahomes in the postseason? There has not been too many QBs since Patrick Mahomes took over as a starting QB for the Kansas City Chiefs to beat him in the playoffs. Joe Burrow is one of them. You got Patrick Mahomes, who's on a tier by himself, and then you got Joe Burrow. Until I see Josh Allen take a Bills team with the worst offensive line in the NFL to the Super Bowl, I don't want to hear shit about Josh Allen being better than Joe Burrow, who has more weapons and who has what, because Josh Allen wasn't playing behind the worst offensive line in the NFL. Josh Allen has always had pretty good or pretty decent offensive lines. Well, pretty decent, JT. Joe Burrow would love to have pretty decent. What Joe Burrow is doing right now is unheard of. And if the Cincinnati Bengals can finally get the offensive line right for this dude, Joe Burrow is going to be a damn Super Bowl champion. I'm getting tired of you people trying to discredit Joe Burrow with these damn playoff numbers, bruh. Of course, he's not going to have great playoff numbers when his offensive line is crappy the majority of the times that he's in the postseason. I'm getting tired of you people trying to discredit Joe Burrow's success, acting like this man was carried by his wide receivers, man. No QB in the history of this game has been able to have the success that Joe Burrow has had in the postseason, playing behind the worst offensive line in the NFL. You're not supposed to go that far in the postseason when your offensive line is that shitty, bruh. Put some respect on Joe Burrow, man. If you don't think Joe Burrow is the second best QB in the league, you're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion is wrong. Patrick Mahomes is the best QB in the game, and Joe Burrow is second. And that is as close to facts as facts gets as an opinion, man. Name me another QB. I'm still waiting for y'all to name me another QB who's been sacked as many times as Joe Burrow and still was able to get his team to the Super Bowl, man. He was sacked 7 times against the Rams, and they still had a chance to win the game. If you don't think Joe Burrow is the second best QB in the league, you're entitled to your opinion, man. You're entitled to your opinion. But name me another QB who's done what Joe Burrow has done behind the terrible offensive line. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I just had to get this rant off my shoulders, man. I had to get this off my chest. It's 5:11 a.m. and I'm reading posts on Reddit and Bleacher Report about people just trying to say, oh, Joe Burrow has these great receivers, and just overlook the fact that he's done something that you normally don't see in the NFL. A QB taking his team to the championship game despite playing behind the worst offensive line in the NFL. This dude was playing with backups in the postseason this past year, man. And they dominated the Buffalo Bills in the second round behind the offensive line that was playing with backup parts, man. Nobody expected Buffalo to get dominated against Cincinnati. Most people thought that Buffalo was going to beat Cincinnati. Come on, dog. Stop disrespecting Joe Burrow. This dude is obviously the second best QB in the NFL. It doesn't matter how good your damn receivers are. There's been plenty of teams that have had great groups of wide receivers. Peyton Manning, the year they got dominated by Seattle in the Super Bowl and got blown out. Tom Brady has had countless great receiving cores. Bro, it doesn't matter how good your receivers are if you don't have the big boys up front who can give you protection. The NFL is still won and lost in the damn trenches. How many times are you guys going to realize this, dog? Think about the past teams over the last decade who have appeared in the conference championship game. There is a reoccurring theme: offensive line play, trenches play, defensive lines, offensive lines. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs had 2 of the best offensive lines and defensive lines in the NFL this past season. And guess where they were? In the damn Super Bowl. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and put some respect on Joe Burrow if you don't think he's the second best QB in the NFL.